Oh, we're going live here. Here we go.
Yay!
Yay! All right. Hey, Katie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Well, thank you for joining me for this video chat of the Becky Talks Parks video version of the podcast.
I know, I'm so excited. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being the guinea pig and figuring all this stuff out.
That's fun. Learn
Yeah.
something new.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, well, can you give us some background as far as like who you are? I know you do so much, and we've kind of gotten to know each other through the Facebook YPN network, and just kind of some involvement with some other things. But can you just tell us about like what you do on a daily basis? What kind of things you help out with? Like what do you do?
And being a smaller department, our department, Jay Tryon was on a couple of podcasts ago, and he mentioned kind of the growth of our department in the 4 years. I got brought on. I was the second full-time hire, and we've grown so much and added about 16 other amenities since then. And so my roles have changed over the 4 years. As we've brought on new people, they've kind of shifted. So which has been awesome because I've gotten to have my hand in everything, which is so cool. But right now, currently, I am over the marketing, which includes kind of the social media, managing all that, kind of creating some videos here and there, learning, researching what our market is, how to get people to engage in us, especially since we're so new. We don't have a following really. So we've just been really trying to beef that up because nobody knows. People across the street from one of our biggest parks are living there and they have no idea that there is an 80-acre park that's been developed right across the street. So just trying to get involvement, and that's, encompasses, all aspects of the marketing, newspapers, flyers to schools, all that stuff. And then I've built the in-house programming. So I also do programming for my little pre-K kids, my little friends, and growing that aspect of it. And let's see, what else? Oh, park projects. So I get to have my hand in a little bit of the things that are going on, and I have a great leader, Jay, that has been very supportive in allowing me to go on creative whims. And I like debating a lot, and so it's something that I've kind of been challenged throughout the entire 4 years, and I can't wait to expand even more. So I'm also part of I'm the marketing chair for this year's Young Professional Network. So I handle those social media, which is the Facebook group and the Twitter account. I am also kind of involved in the kind of supervisors management and the mentors, but just posting, kind of cross posting. My biggest platform and standpoint on all of this is just making sure that there's awareness, because we all know the importance of getting involved and networking. And, I love that about our field, that we're just able to share ideas and kind of build upon them with each other. And so that's been kind of my drive of just trying to get that information out to other professionals and get other people involved. I am also recently was the marketing and communications person for the core team of TEDx College Park, which has recently last Thursday, which is great, and the videos are coming soon for it. But it was a huge event that was in Maryland, and it had 14 speakers that had a ton of ideas that are very worth spreading, and a lot of them that are directly impacting our park and recreation field. So,
Wow, you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
You're so involved. It's awesome though, because I think that not enough people take the time to be involved, not only online in the professional networks, which can provide great resources and ideas and tools, but also kind of offline. And you're doing a lot of really cool things that are impacting our field long term, like the TEDx stuff. So awesome.
Thanks.
So today in this hangout, I want to talk about some of the creative marketing strategies that you've come across and that you're implementing right now, because I know that you guys are a small department and you pretty much are handling all of the marketing and social media. And you guys, Katy does an incredible job at marketing. Every single time I log into Facebook, I see something new going on at Indian Trail, and I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun. I want to go to those events, and I'm hours and hours away from you guys. So can you just talk a little bit about maybe your philosophy behind the presence that you have on social media, and like how you got to where you are in the way that you're engaging so many people online?
Yeah. So I'm very fortunate to be a part of a very creative team. We are all very close together. And one of the things is we always have brainstorming sessions and things like that, always kind of pushing the mold. But kind of the philosophy, like many departments, I feel like in our Parks and Recreation field, it kind of just got dumped on us. We were finding that everything was going through our communications person, while Parks and Recreation, we're kind of a different animal. We have a lot going on, and we're a little bit more high maintenance in that aspect and getting that information out. And so we decided to bring it in-house. And so it was a learning process. I don't have a marketing background. My degree was in Parks and Recreation. So the philosophy that I've really taken and have learned so much more about is what would make myself, like, does this look appealing to myself? Would this catch my eye? Is this too busy? And just kind of looking at other ads really across the board and seeing, okay, why does this catch my eye? Like the color yellow. Don't use the color yellow, unless it's something, or the bright color red, unless you're trying to get someone's attention for it. Just kind of the behavioralists of things of how I would react to it. And then kind of more so going on into it as we've gotten a better understanding of like the design aspect and, keeping everything clean. What is going to, whenever I'm looking at Facebook posts, what are my reactions to what my friends are posting, and what am I seeing in my news feeds and going there? So, for instance, if somebody is uploading a story, I'm not going to read it, on their status, more than likely. So what they have, that doesn't mean that what they have to say is not important. It's just, I'm probably quick. I'm probably just scrolling through. So I need something in addition to the design, something quick, short. I can pull the information out. If they want more information, they can go to the website, or they can send us a message. And really building a relationship and engagement with our community. And one of the things that I found, it has been kind of my latest guinea pig a little bit, is looking at my own Facebook and in my news feed and just kind of studying, okay, why do I have, Facebook is a science, like there's so many, like the algorithms and things like that. It's crazy. But taking that and looking at it and saying, so for instance, I like Scary Mommy or Parks and Recreation's sites. I like a specific page. Why does that specific page keep being present in my newsfeed? Mm-hmm. And finding that, okay, it's either because I commented and tagged somebody in it, or that I like the status a lot. And so that's why it's going to be keeping up or whatever. And that's why new things aren't coming in. It's always going to have a presence in my newsfeed. So taking that too and shifting our recreation page as more of an engagement aspect and getting feedback and finding out who our population, who are reaching, who are not, and just kind of sneaking in things that relate to us, but are also some fun so that people are going to react to.
Yeah, I think that's a good philosophy, by asking yourself, what would I respond to? What would I like? What would I engage with? And I think that it really works for you guys. And like, just recently, you guys had a splash pad that was closed, right? So yes. Let me talk about how like previous departments that I worked for might respond to that, or anybody, right? Like, okay, splash pad is closed. And like, that's it. You guys did such an excellent job at responding with people. Like, I think the latest post was something like, the splash pad is back open. Describe in a GIF how you feel. And like 20 people commented, and they were
And so that is key, so if they are tagging their friends, and if you have a status that is more engaged and getting more likes and getting more comments on it, you're showing up in more people's statuses. And so if you respond to it, your friends are going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Your friends are going to see, oh, Becky Dunlap commented on this, and they're going to see that status. So that's what we're working with, is we have to, they're liking them, and people, their friends in the surrounding area is going to pick up on their algorithms, on their news feeds. And also, especially if you comment, it's also going to magnify everything that your entire audience that you're reaching. And that is what's key to kind of, and also being relatable, so gifts, everyone loves gifts. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the information out there. This is important. So the best way we're going to do that is through engagement, likes, and posting. But also when the splash pad was closed, also just kind of being relatable things of like, okay, yeah, this sucks. It's only been open for 3 months now, and we're having to close it for a couple of days. Like, seriously, I thought that they were going to set our office on fire. Like, it was so crazy, but also saying like, I know, we get it, guys. Like, it pains us, and showing that, hey, we're not doing this like your other side. And a lot of people gain a lot of power behind a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that I was telling my coworker the other day, I don't think that people even realize that they're talking to an actual person.
Mm-hmm.
Because then when you respond to them and say, we feel your pain, like we understand, like this, we're trying to do the best as we can to get it back up and running. They respond, they're like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, I think that they think that they're talking to like just a computer, and that we don't have real feelings, but it's also making them know, hey, we're real people, and hey, we're here for you. And this is not something that we take like lightly. So
Yeah, exactly. And you're just talking to them like a human being, which is really appreciative. Like if someone didn't know you before this and then they were to look at all of your comments, I feel like knowing how you would respond, I'm going to show up differently, and I'm going to actually approach you with a little bit of politeness and like ask you a question, because I know that you're going to respond and care about what I have to say.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So along with like GIFs and wanting people to comment and like, because we know that if we do that, then their friends are going to see it and more people will like, what are some other strategies that you have found that are working for you guys?
So we have a very kind of unique, and from a self-proclaimed marketer. I'm not saying, I don't have the education background, so I can't call myself a marketer or whatever, but just kind of, I find new appreciation for things and for logos and things like that. We are very fortunate with that we can do it in everything. And so we have a lot of fun with our contests and everything, down to like there's like family night. We have board games and things like that. There's a board game out there that's like Step in It. And so like, right, like it's funny, like knowing and it goes to being relatable, but also being catchy. So everything from like our shirts, something that people are going to react to. So like again, it goes back to the philosophy of, what do I have an appreciation for? Like, what are kind of our the normal, not necessarily me, but what is a normal person who our target? If I'm that person, what's going to make me react, or what's going to make me appreciate this? So what's going to grab my attention? And so with the garbage truck decal, so it's a garbage truck, right? We have this huge decal that can go on the entire side of the garbage truck. And so, we put on it in a huge banner, "It happens." And we did like the asterisk. So, it's like a pun, but it's also like, whoa. But then we kind of tie it in, because we do have to walk that line or whatever in the public sector, but highlighting that IT goes for Indian Trail, or like our shirts, "Follow for a good time" is the front of it. And then on the back of it has all of our social media. And I can't tell you how many people are like, "That is awesome. I want that shirt." And like they're buying it. So that's more marketing for us. So really just capitalizing on your play on words, and getting things that are catchy, that are really going to stick out. And more so than anything, people are going to remember it, and they're going to recognize and affiliate you with your parks and with the opportunities that you are providing.
Okay, so and one question that I just thought of while you were saying that is, a lot of people are still relying on their recreation catalogs, the quarterly magazines that come out that list all of their different programs. Do you still find that that's working for you? And like, is that more of like a part of your strategy rather than the main thing that you're doing?
So our department is a little unique in that since our program guide, we do 2 a year, and we send them out to the majority of the housing in our area. That has been one of our biggest strategies, apart from the social media and word of mouth, to get the information out. However, it's only like we limit kind of what we put in there. So we don't have a lot of words. It's very clean. We don't have articles in there. It's literally just kind of listing our programs, like dates, times, fees, things like that, where they can sign up, our social media information. A lot of departments that I have found in the surrounding area, they don't really get the response. So I don't know if that's kind of us being newer and just being established that it's helping us. But we're also in our area very paper driven. But what's funny is a lot of times so our registration comes from half and half of getting the awareness. So we'll have a spike immediately after the fall program guides or the spring program guide goes out. But after that, anything that's long-term, that's past that month, people aren't even registering for it. So it's good for that month, but I don't know if it necessarily offset those costs. More so than anything, we're using it as a tool just to say, hey, these are what are available to you right down the road. Other than that, though, and our school flyers and things like that, we've never received kind of any interaction on that front. So our biggest form is word of mouth and social media. That's far.
Okay, cool. So that's awesome. And so what I'm hearing you say is that your recreation catalog kind of has a list of your current programs, but you don't dive into the details, like
right.
Come to the swimming pool for swim lessons. Here are all the different times and dates that they're available. You don't do that.
So no, but we have 3 parks. We have very limited indoor space, but what we focus on is with the programs and things like that we're listing, we limit to 1 to 2 short sentences. We do not put in a ton of information because then you're going to see things overcrowded. It's not going to be aesthetically pleasing to look at, and you're just going to skip. The information is going to get lost because it's just too jumbled together, and nobody wants to read a book, right? Yeah. So you just the biggest key for those is just making things simple and easy to read. Don't give them a book. If they want more information, they're either going to call you or they're going to shoot you an email. So I think that's what's key in a lot of things, because yes, the information is really important and it should get out there, but people don't care. You're reaching a very slim market. Not everyone has preschoolers. So you're packing all this information is just taking up space. Not everyone has adults, or not everyone wants to be in an adult program. They just want the kids stuff. So you just have to find that balance and just making it really clean and easy to read.
And so you're pointing a lot of people back to your website. Do you feel like your website does a good job at displaying information and leading people to register, or is that still something that you guys are working on?
So we ended up purchasing our website domain name to it's parksandrec.com with the hope that everyone would just go type in that. It was easy to put on all of our flyers instead of putting our main website and then having to go 4 or 5 clicks to get to the department website. Right. However, if I'm being honest, unless you put a direct link to your page where you're registering for camps or events or whatever it is you're registering, people aren't going to find it. So we've been trying to, in our events that we create on Facebook, we upload all of our events for our summer camps and our programs and things like that each month. We put direct links to the page that they're going to be registering on. Our website is so clean and it's very easy to use for us. But a lot of times people don't scroll down. So they don't see the buttons that say, or they don't realize that a Mommy and Me class is a preschool class, or that this is considered a program. So I could go either way. I could argue either way with it.
But you create specific Facebook events for all of your programs?
Yes. So about 1 to 3 months out, we create the programs, even our smaller events. We don't necessarily boost those unless it is like hey, summer camp registration. And we will boost that event just so people get the information out and we'll post them. So kind of the other events that are just our programs and not necessarily that big, those are kind of stagnant after. If people are interested, then we'll just do like a post kind of right before that says, hey, registration is ending soon or something. But other than that, we don't really, as a reminder for people, other than that, we kind of leave those kind of stagnant. Our big events, one of my coworkers does a fantastic job of kind of just uploading random, doing the gifts, asking for gifts, or hey, tag 3 friends in this event, and we share them through the contest and things like that. And I can't tell you the response. For $200 that we increased in our ad, we reached 1 million people just by him. That was our public outreach. I was like, he said, hey, how many people do you think that we reached? And I was like, I mean, I don't know, maybe like 50,000, because Charlotte, Mecklenburg is just down the road from us, which is bigger. He was like, no, up. And I was like, there's no way 1 million. And he was like, yes. And so we reached 1 million people by 200, but that's also he was posting. So people like or are interested in the events, right? You don't necessarily have to like the page. You're just liking that event. So you have to keep on posting in the events itself to kind of keep it at the forefront. Even if you don't go and click in it, you always get a notification if you've been interested that someone has posted in that group. And so most of the time you check it out. But more so than anything, even if you don't, it's at the top of your newsfeed. You get that notification. So you're seeing hits after 6 posted, hits after 6. Well, you don't have to look at it, but you are seeing, oh yeah, hits after 6 is this Friday. Oh, cool. And you intermingle it with your contest and you get so much like, hey, tag 3 friends, share it to your main page, say tag 3 friends. They tag 3 friends, get super prizes, which also those have been key. Those have really set us apart, and we have gotten a lot more engagement by providing things that people want, like baskets and stuff, just full of stuff. Like for Family Fun Day, like a towel, a cooler, a Yeti, a speaker that you can sit on the beach with, things that are relevant and that people want. Like 1 million people are reached. It was awesome.
That's insane. Like, I thought you were exaggerating at first. Like, that's an incredible number. How many? Yeah, go ahead.
No, it just it blew my mind because I was like, I don't believe you. I don't.
Prove it.
We don't even have, I was like, we have maybe 5,000 followers. But ever since we really started doing this 6 months back, it really changed our marketing approach. We have been averaging about 150 likes per week.
Wow.
So it's been awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So then I got to ask, 6 months ago, how did you change that marketing approach? Like, because I imagine that you must have had an intentional conversation to say, this is where we've been and this is where we're trying to go.
Yeah. So, and we kind of talked about this a while ago of like, hey, how do you not get burnt out? I was burnt out. Yeah. And it was, we don't have a lot of indoor facilities until recently, which now we have 3 multi-purpose rooms, community rooms. And so from December after our Christmas parade to what is it? March or April, whenever Easter, which is kind of our kickoff. Um, we were kind of not doing a lot. And so by the time it got December, like after the elf on the shelf, I was like, I'm done. Like, we had so much going on. But that's one thing is trying to create different things and looking to see, okay, what's trending, what's going on, like taking a step, not away from the marketing, but just kind of, I guess, recalibrating a little bit. And more so than anything is what changed was involvement. And knowing, I felt like, just from professionally, there was just a lot of pressure kind of there to kind of be everywhere at once, which is the importance of scheduling and using, your Hootsuite and things like that to kind of schedule things out, but also getting involvement in with your team and saying, okay, hey, things are going to get crazy. Let's start like with a marketing plan. Let's create like a post submittal to where, hey, let's do it on our drive, our shared drive. This is what's coming up. This is what I want to do, and have their input and have their creativity. We about once a month just sit in a room and just kind of bounce ideas around. Or if I say, hey, let's, with our event coordinator, he's super creative. He is so awesome. And I'll sit with him and I'll say, okay, let's do a contest. What do we want to do? How are we going to incorporate it? And we'll just bounce ideas. And that's really what's kind of kept the momentum going and we came back with a vengeance, I feel like, on Facebook. And it's been great. But it really is a team effort because, we're all spread. We have so many different things that we're doing. So it's awesome.
Yeah. So none of you, well, except for you yourself, are really like on the marketing team, but they have an interesting perspective because they're out there doing the work in the field.
Right.
So then, okay, so just want to make this clear. So you guys use Google to manage your workflow and all of your shared documents?
So we have a server that's on our town. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. So then you're going on to like just a Word document and saying, these are some of my ideas. Can you give me feedback? Or I just want to get into some of the specifics so that people who are really struggling with creating unique content can get an idea of what some in a department like you, like what you guys are doing.
Yeah. So I kind of take a look at, I sit down with our events coordinator, and after kind of researching, kind of doing a marketing timeline, like many other departments, whenever you get marketing on board, you're like, well, how often do I post? What do I post about? What are some things? What are our timelines? And so I usually do about 3 months. And I just kind of started setting policies for myself and saying, okay, 3 months before an event, I'm going to upload these 2 months. Like every month or whatever, I'll upload new events, and you can schedule events out for when they post now. So it doesn't have to necessarily, you can even create all of your events and upload them, but just schedule them out ahead of time. And so then you can just let them be accruing likes and interactions and everything. And then I go, okay, how many posts do I want to do the week of the event? What are some of those posts entailing? So you have maybe your timeline. Okay, what are contests? Are there going to be contests that week? Is there going to be like photos? Are we going to have a specific contest that ties into the event? Just kind of outlining all of those and saying, okay, this is what's going on the week of the event if we're going to be doing a contest. So the week before, this is how many times I want to post about, just to keep people fresh in their mind, but not being too forward because you have so many different activities going on at the minute. But one thing that I had my coworkers, we created was just a form and saying, so like our athletic coordinator, he has a couple of leagues that are coming up. So things get lost, right? Like things with everything going on, like something, I don't want it to fall off the plate, and not get that advertising out. So what I had him do is say, okay, I want you, for every time that you want to post, whether it's this week, I need you to fill out this form, and I need you to say where it's going to go, if it's included in the newsletter or if it's going to be included in the newspaper or if it's a flyer, where it's going to be distributed, and what the description is, what time, all the information about this program and this event, and kind of a checklist. He submits that. And so then I go into the marketing request folder that's on our shared drive. And so then I know, hey, this is new, and I could put it on my calendar because we're so many different directions. That's kind of a way that we keep centered. And if there's any ideas that they have, they put it in that document. And so whenever I'm reading over it, saying, hey, what about we do this? And I'll be like, okay, Seth, let's talk about it. Or Hayden, let's talk about it. And kind of brainstorm that way.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like you've got kind of your workflow now, and you're able to collaborate, and yet you still have a system in place too. Do you find like that you are posting, you said that you're scheduling out posts like months in advance. Are there times where you're just like posting day of, or does like, I don't know, sitting down and just planning out posts for months at a time seems exhausting mentally? Like, how
and
do
it
you
doesn't happen.
yourself?
Yeah,
Okay,
ideally I can say this because it's the right thing to say, and I try and stay up on it. But like, I have an assistant who is a creative genius. Like, I am so fortunate. I'm like, please don't ever leave me. Like, she is amazing. And she helps a lot with the posts and the designs of the kiosks and things like that. And ideally, we want to plan things out months ahead of time, right? Doesn't always happen. So it kind of goes week by week. But just knowing and having a calendar that's beside me so that I can visually see, here are the events that we have coming up. Okay, so what is, if we have something that's next Thursday, here's what I'm going to do. And then I'll meet with Hayden and kind of make sure that we're on the same page to see if there's like a timeline for the event, what other information that's going in there. So it's not necessarily months, but it's something that I like to go sit down in for myself, just to kind of plan, here's what we're looking like the next couple months. Here's where, and I pick a day of like the first of every month. Okay. The first of every month, I kind of take a look at what, like visually looking to see what is upcoming, just to kind of refresh it in my mind and kind of keep it to where, okay, if I hear this date, or I know I have some semblance of knowledge if somebody's asked me a question on Facebook, or if there's something I have to ask a question of the right responsible party. So it's a puzzle piece. Yes. And it's a lot of fun. So
see, I think that's the right way to look at it. Like, this is a game of sorts. It's a puzzle. And if you just think of like how to gamify it, like, how do I get more likes on this? It's not, you know, I feel like, and we're going to get into this in just a second, but I feel like sometimes Parks and Recreation departments kind of look at it like, this is our formal medium for getting out our upcoming events. And it's kind of stagnant, and it's not very exciting. So then when you don't get those results of more engagement, you're like, well, this isn't working for me.
Yeah. And as much as I hate it, not hate it, but as much as sometimes it's like a cringeworthy when people find out that we're in Parks and Rec, I'm like, oh, you have fun. And it's like, yeah, I also work really hard, but we do have lots of fun. And it's encompassing that because, you know, it's building relationships, and it's, you know, it's a big puzzle piece. And one thing that kind of helps us keep on our toes is, you know, the brainstorming ideas, getting outside the box and just new and different things. And also being challenged. Like, we're a very competitive team. And so there's nothing like a good challenge. And so my boss, I think a couple of months ago, I was kind of in a rut, and we're very close. We know when we're reaching and we need kind of a break or a new challenge. And so my boss was, you know, sent me an email, was like, okay, I want at least 250 new likes in a month and a month and a half. And so like my response to him was, I'm going to do it in 25 days. You know, like it's just something like that. And then it's kind of re-stimulates you and, like, you know, balances you and gives you that competitive edge. But then also, okay, how are people doing this? And kind of just having fun with it, which is, like you were saying, is, you know, we're so formal and things like that. Okay, just because we work for the government doesn't mean we have to be lame.
Yeah.
Like we're the fun department. That's what we should be, encompassing. That's what's going to work.
Yeah, exactly. Like just like anybody goes to sell their product or their service, they're trying to explain why it's so great. Well, Parks and Recreation essentially sells itself. Like people just go there to have
Yeah.
fun, but we have to do a better job at telling that story.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that leads me, I want to ask about video marketing because I'm doing a session at NRPA in September, and I feel like I have so much more to learn about video marketing. Have you dabbled in that a little bit? Like, where do you stand with that?
So I'm going to be learning with you.
Okay.
So our communications person, that's for the town overall, does a great job of. So in the past, we were contracting out with several different people, videographers in the area, which they were getting started, they were getting their name out. So we even got a better deal from that. But at the same time, like with our budget, like we can't do it for everything. But our communications person has just, and what we're pulling out of it is 2 to 3 minutes, right? 2, 3 minutes max. Something to just look back on the day. And we can do that. We can do it with an iPad. We can do it, and it still has good quality. The key is they're impacting there are ways that you could do what looks like a professional video with your equipment that you already have and things like that. So no, like we don't have a budget to go out and get a very nice video camera, but we do have an iPad. So what we're going to do, we're not going to shake the camera. We're going to get, something that has it to where it's going to be stable. We can capture what we want to capture, and then we can edit it. I actually have a meeting with him in the next couple of weeks because as we were talking earlier, our YouTube is huge right now. That's kind of been my next challenge of getting people on board with that and getting people to getting us popping up a lot more in the YouTube area, especially like around here. So, but in order to do that, we gotta have videos, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I'm excited to look at what you guys are developing in the next few months or even years, because I know it takes a while, and like it's a learning process, but it's also understanding, okay, we can figure this out. This isn't impossible, and we can use the tools that we have. And then once you make those videos, like that's a great advertising platform too. Like if YouTube is the second largest search engine, then let's use it. Like there's opportunity there.
And also, what we're doing right now is the YouTube Live. Literally had no idea.
Right? We're figuring out.
Yeah, and that's the importance. I can't, stress it enough. That's the importance of, getting involved in things like that and bouncing ideas off of each other. And, even with the YPN groups and things like that, it's a little more relaxed and informal, than your NRPA Connect, which is we live through NRPA Connect. And just gaining it, I feel like maybe because it's on Facebook, people are a little more comfortable with kind of, providing, it's not as formal as NRPA Connect is, and it's bouncing ideas off of people like that and saying, sharing them of, hey, what tools are working for you? What aren't working for you? Videos, what software do you use? Like what equipment are you having? Things like that is, or what are ways on a budget to develop video? So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing, what you're learning. I can't wait to learn from you.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to keep on collaborating because these are the kinds of things that move us all forward just by being open and saying, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can we figure it out together? And with that kind of attitude, I think we're going to go far. It's the kind of attitude where it's like, I think everybody's already known what they're doing. Like they're almost like, but we need to open up that conversation a little bit to say we're all moving forward together. It's just that we have to collaborate and share our ideas and share our struggles. And that's how we're going to make it through.
And that's the one thing that I think is with our marketing and things like that, which I know we'll get into in a little bit of the technology and things like that. We've got to keep up with the trends. Technology is not our enemy. It is our biggest outlet, and we've got to get on board with that. I know it kind of breaks the mold of kind of what our typical recreation activities are or whatever, but that's the beauty of what we do. because recreation cannot be really defined as a one thing. It's defined, it has its own definition towards each person, for each person. Like they may want to do a hobby, or this may be fun, or this is a leisure activity or whatever. But like a lot of it is going digitally. We got to get on board with it. And we got to make it personal and inviting. You said like, you mentioned earlier of, people not wanting to get involved because it's like, oh, I don't really know. Like, I don't know if my ideas are good, or I don't know if I should respond to this and things like that. No, that's what we have to break down is people want to get involved, but you've got to get them invested, and you've got to make that atmosphere to where they want to contribute and know that their voice is being heard.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so it's a good segue because I want to ask about, my favorite question is, what does it mean for you to raise the bar in the field of Parks and Recreation? Everybody has a different answer. So just answer that question. What does it mean to raise the bar in Parks and Recreation for you, Katy?
Okay, so I got two. I'm a talker. So one of it would be, and they tie into each other, paying it forward. And that is, I've had such awesome networking and other professionals I've met and mentors that have really guided me and have provided such awesome feedback and inspiration, and told me when I was being a turd and being ridiculous, like, hey, it doesn't really work like this, and honest, but I needed it, and really taking that feedback. Raising the bar to me is paying it forward, making sure, like we were talking about, is that we have that inviting nature, that we understand we're not going to be able to grow if we keep all of our ideas to ourselves. We're, as a field, as a professional, as a person, we have to get that information, and, sharing is caring. Everything, our lives, especially in the public sector, is an open book anyways. Like, come on, put it out there and let's develop it. Let's build upon it, because whereas your idea is great, I know that there are other people out there that are going to build upon it and make it even better. And our biggest standpoint is to how to better serve our community. And I know, especially for our department in the marketing and things like that, which is something that we've been very creative and excelling at right now, but it's also because we made marketing a priority. Mm-hmm. And I think if we're going to raise the bar and establish ourselves in the Parks and Recreation field, we have to make marketing a priority. I get it. We wear many different hats and things like that, but a lot of our resources, like social media, that is the biggest form of communication right now, and how people are getting their information and their news and things. Okay, Facebook is not our enemy. It's free, and it is the biggest tool that people are getting. People aren't coming to meetings anymore. They're not being present. They get behind a keyboard and they let you know how they truly feel. Okay, take it, run with it. Let them know, though, that you're hearing them. People want to be invested in it. And more so than anything, once they have that investment, they're going to offer you support. I can't tell you how many times that, in other groups, somebody will post something at the park on our What's Up Indian Trail page that totally slamming us. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you how many people have commented on and said, oh, talk to Indian Trail Parks and Recreation, and will tag us in it and send them a message. They're awesome about responding. You want to be responsive. As Parks and Recreation people, we tend to be very formal. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of restricts us. And what the end game is, and what's really going to raise the bar, is because people aren't informed. They think, oh, this is what my tax dollars is paying for, or they didn't realize that a park bond was being passed or did not get passed, or whatever the reason is. They don't know. They're not coming to the meetings. They're not getting invested. We got to invest, and we got to build the relationship. We got to open up the communication that way. And I guarantee you that when we need them, they're going to support us, because we've heard them, we respond to them, and now they're loyal to us. And so they're going to fight for us. And I think more so than anything, that is one thing that will help us be able to justify, because we have to justify everything, right? So that's one thing that's going to be able to overrule any argument, because if we have the support of the people, I mean, what happens after that? You know,
Right.
like we get what we want. And
Mhm.
it's not necessarily what we want, it's what our community deserves. You know, we're here to provide positive or profound experiences. And the way that we're going to do that is only if we have the support of the people. And the support of the people is on Facebook. And that's the way to build relationships right now. So let's do it.
Yes. Katy, you rock. You inspire me.
No, seriously, this is like, I can't do any of this without an awesome team and without awesome professionals like you. You have done so much for us, especially with your Becky Talks Parks and your podcast and like just being so innovative and pushing and giving back to our field. And I can't thank you enough because you rock.
Oh, thanks. All right, air high five.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, is there anything else? Are there other resources that we can point professionals to learn more, or like maybe your website? Just kind of give us some ending thoughts here.
Yeah. So I always just kind of Google latest marketing kind of trends and things and just keeping up with, you know, your time and your marketing magazines or blogs or things. Being very active in the Facebook groups, the Recreation Mentors and the YPN, especially NRPA Connect is the best resource. Always follow along. It's Parks and Rec on Facebook and Instagram. And just get involved, guys, because that's the only way that we're all going to learn from each other. And we all have a lot to offer. Just put it out there.
Yeah, awesome. Great advice. Definitely go check out those resources, everybody. And stay tuned. This was fun. I think we'll have to utilize YouTube Live a little bit more.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay. Okay. All right. We're going to stop this, and the podcast will go up next Tuesday. So hang on for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.